Spooky Tuesday.
They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
Hey guys, welcome to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Sydney Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Duff. And this week we are also joined by a friend and special guest. Devin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello. Longtime listener, first time guest. My name is Devin Kogan, and I'm so excited to be here on Spooky Tuesday.
No, Devin, we're excited to have you.
Oh my God, it's an honor. Again, another serious professional media critic joining to give a professional media opinion
On this professional media opinion podcast.
on this very professional episode, a very serious movie. Monica, would you like to?
Oh, yeah. I
tell
mean,
us
I would
more?
say this is probably the most striking film we've covered on the pod thus far. This week, we're talking about a movie that quite literally changed me body and soul when I watched it in high school. It is the 1990 masterpiece, Troll 2. And before we get into it at all, I'm just going to read the IMDb little description for you. A vacationing family discovers that the entire town they're visiting is inhabited by goblins disguised as humans who plan to eat them. And right off the bat, just by reading that, you learn an incredible fact, which is yes, the movie is called Troll 2, and no, it is not about trolls. It is about goblins. Just to be clear, just want to get that clear right away.
And one thing that summary doesn't say, but 100% what this movie is anti vegetarian / vegan propaganda.
Yes, I saw that on
Absolutely.
IMDb.
And that is deeply part of the reason why I think it resonates with me so much, because I used to bully people for being vegetarian and vegan. I have since reformed myself, but I used to shit on my friends whenever they became vegetarian, vegan.
Wow.
Yeah,
A
I'd be like, what
hater.
the
Now
fuck
you
is
live with
wrong
one.
with you? Now I live with one, so I had to change. And one of my best friends was vegan for a very long time. And so I had to learn to bite my tongue, but I really relate to the inspiration for this movie.
I was absolutely flavor blasted watching this for the first time because I felt like
Okay.
it was necessary. I felt I had to rewatch it again because I was so overwhelmed. But I don't know if I texted the group or if I thought that I texted the group, but I was like,
It was
this
one of
is
those.
propaganda.
Dude,
I was
and
like, I was half asleep too, watching this movie. So I was like, oh my God. And then no.
it is quite literally intended to be propaganda, and I love a propaganda film when it's done so well. But something beautiful about this movie that I did not know at all is that it was written and directed, and all of the everything behind the scenes was a mob of Italians, and like the most Italians that you've ever seen. They came from Italy to Utah, hired a cast of 90% Mormon people who had never acted before, and created a masterpiece.
But yeah, I mean, they hired a bunch of people who showed up just to be extras on set, and then they landed all of these lead roles. And I'm very curious about the behind the scenes, and I want to get to that. But first, Monica, I know that you said that you saw it in high school. Sydney and I think we're watching it both for the first time. But Devin, you'd seen it before. When had you seen it?
I saw it in high school. Yeah, it was about it must have been about 2009, 2010. It was right around
Yeah.
the time that a documentary came out, actually directed by the Michael Stevenson, who plays the child in this movie. He directed he directed a documentary basically about sort of being in the worst movie ever made, and has all the cast members and talks to the director about like, how did this movie happen. But yeah, I sort of got into it when it sort of became a cult classic. It sort of came up there with like The Room or Birdemic or any of the other things that you think of when you think of like the worst movie ever made. And Troll 2 is part of the reason when you guys asked me to join and I wanted to talk about Troll 2 is because for my money, this is my favorite bad movie. It is endlessly rewatchable.
Yeah, it's super interesting that you compare it to The Room because I sure saw that on the More Like This on IMDb.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't sure the vibes when I was watching it at first because we did Leprechaun roughly around this time last year, also about mythical creatures, also green as a feature. And also a lot of that discussion was like, did they intend this movie to be scary when they made it? Did they intend it to be silly? Were they pranking us? Like, what was the deal? And I wasn't sure about this movie either. And then IMDb would lead me to believe that the directors, writers, blah, blah, blahs took it deadly seriously, The Room style, where they were like, I don't understand why people don't think this is a good movie. I don't understand why people don't see our vision.
So this documentary that Devin is talking about, Sydney and I also watched it. It's called The Best Worst Movie Ever, right? Or something. Or no, Best Worst Movie. Best Worst Movie. And I really recommend watching it if you really love this movie. You have to love the movie to watch the documentary because otherwise it's gonna be a lot for you. But I had a fucking blast. And it was one of the most important and interesting things about it, besides learning everything that I could possibly know about George Hardy, which I'm so glad to know, is just watching the director like fight everyone basically in this documentary, because all the cast members are like, yeah, I was really bad in this movie. Like I did a bad job and the movie is not good, but like I can see why everyone loves it. Like I've come to terms with it. The director is like, they lie and they lie and they lie again.
Actors.
This movie was incredible. It's still incredible. It's about family. It's about all of these incredible themes. Like the writer, so it's like it was a husband and wife combo. So Claudio Fragasso, he is the director, and he has a pseudonym that he used for this, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head. And then his wife, Rosella Drudy, she wrote the screenplay, but apparently he helped with the screenplay as well. And he just like both of them, they're just like the actors lie. And you know what, I had, this is a great film.
You know what? They're right though. Actors do lie, and
they do.
I hesitate to say this is a great film though, because I don't know about it, but I would love to hear what you guys love about it.
Oh my God, Chelsea, I feel like you don't like the bad movies as much as we like the bad movies, you know?
I have more complicated feelings about, I think what is bad good to me is not always what's bad good to you.
That's fine. It's beautiful.
I like a bad movie when it is like snappier and more fast paced. But when they're slow and they're bad, it kind of just drags for me. I will say when I was rewatching parts of it, I was more like, okay, and kind of like bopping along. But the first time around, I was just like, what is happening? And why is it happening? And every 5 seconds, my brain kept going, it's giving Shrek Ketchup. And it just the whole time, every 5 seconds, it's giving Shrek Ketchup.
Oh my God.
It haunted me throughout. And then I got to the end with the Jello tits, not to say the context for the Jello tits, but they were very clearly Jello tits. And I thought to myself, I should refuse to talk this episode. I should make us sit in silence for an hour and a half so everyone can think about what they've done. But I'm trying to be more positive. I'm trying to have a good outlook and be a team player.
Ooh, tomato.
Green Heinz tomatoes. Yeah.
Oh,
Shrek ketchup, Chelsea.
Shrek
Boo.
ketchup.
I did also say, who would like to join me in spreading the rumor that the word trolling was started by people saying how this movie must have been My Immortal style trolling. Again, it comes back to My Immortal, and not about trolling the type of fishing. And believe me, I looked up the origins of the word trolling in an internet capacity, and they seem to have started around like 1994, I believe, was the article that I found, but it's just on vocabulary.com. So I mean, like, who knows? But vocabulary.com would say that the term started around 92, which is after this movie came out. And so I think we can make that rumor happen if you guys would like to join me.
It's
Oh,
now
wow.
on the internet, and therefore
It's now online. That means it's true.
It's true. That's how the internet works.
Let me
People are
go
going
update this
to use us in the
vocabulary.com.
citations
Yes.
for their essay
Cookie
on
Tuesday pod.
the origin of trolling.
Yes, I think
the-
probably.
The reason that I brought up Rosella in this moment is because she claims in this article that I read, different than in the documentary we all watched, but in this article she was like, yeah, I meant it to be a comedy, to have comedy elements in it. And so that was all intentional. And I was like, wow, girl, you are just saying different shit every time you talk about this
Girl
too.
boss,
So that's
gaslight.
yeah,
Kate,
seriously.
Exactly.
Okay,
The
but here's the
world-
thing.
You go.
Oh, I was going to say, is this where Robert Pattinson got his interview style from, of just making up
Just bullshit
new
every
things
single time?
for
Just
every
whatever.
interview?
Everything about this is the blueprint.
I
Another
bet
thing
he's
I
seen
just
this movie. I bet he has.
oh, of course
Oh,
he has.
you know
No,
he loves
yeah,
this movie.
yeah, of course. He's got great taste, so of course he's seen this movie. One other thing I want to briefly say, just to close the door on Rosella really quickly. There's a quote where she said, I had the idea of replacing the vampires in the traditional vampire story with vegetarians. So that was her intent here in the film, that the vegetarians were supposed to be like vampires, like sucking the green chlorophyll out of their prey, I guess. And I could totally see that now, because you get Credence, our girl, and she turns into this hot sexy succubus at one point. And that feels very vampiric, like the
Sure.
sexy alluring woman thing feels like the classic portrayal of vampires. But I'm just like, how many different like themes were you guys trying to bring into this film?
That is the thing about this movie, is that the lore makes no sense.
None.
You've got witches and goblins, but the name of the movie is Troll 2, but there are no trolls in it. It is just the most baffling. The goblins want to eat you, but first they have to turn you into a tree, but then sometimes they also just turn you into green gunk, and there's no logic to it, but it is so much fun to watch.
Also,
And because the performances are just insane.
chef's kiss. Also, the magic stone is called Stonehenge Magic Stone.
Yeah, obviously. What else would it be called?
What else
they,
could
like,
it be called?
Don't really talk about the Stonehenge Magic Stone until like I feel like the last 20 minutes of the movie, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, we got to put a magic stone in here real quick. And I'm glad they did. It really added to it. We also get like the power of like goodness overcoming evil.
Well, we haven't even talked about the grandfather who
Oh, well, that's yeah.
gets sent to hell. They're like, go back to hell. And I was like, oh, the grandfather was in hell. Okay.
Dude, okay, that's a great
He
place
says
to
he
start.
wasn't. And then
That
he's like, but
part-
I know somebody who was. And I didn't really understand what he was saying with that part. Went
That
over my
was
head a little bit.
Literally the clunkiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like literally you can't hear the dialogue because someone's using a leaf blower to create this wind. And he's like, no, don't worry, grandson. I wasn't in hell. Just my friend up in the afterlife was in hell. And so I know about it. Like that's essentially what he says.
Hmm. It does sound to me, now that you're saying it, it does sound to me like he was in hell, but he doesn't want to admit it.
I wasn't in hell. Just
Not
my
me.
friend
I know this
was
guy
in hell.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know someone. The beginning of this movie gave me big princess bride vibes.
Yes.
Mm.
I
I
wrote
was
that
like,
in my notes.
okay,
100%.
is this? Because like I didn't read anything about it. Like I knew about the movie. I didn't know anything about the movie. And so when I'm watching this, I was just like, where could this go? Like, what could this be? I was not expecting what I got, y'all.
No, you can't expect it. If you had expected what you got, then like I don't even know how? There's no, I don't
You
even
would
think
be psychic.
the,
Yeah.
the directors or anyone in the film. No, I know this. None of them expected what they got. There's all these interviews with the cast members. It's like many of them didn't see it for years after it came out because it went straight to VHS. And also just a little fun fact, the reason that it's called Troll 2 and it's about goblins is because the like I don't know, the studio or whatever who was
Distributors.
releasing it was like, yeah, I think it'll do better if we connect it to that troll movie that apparently had Julie Louise Dreyfus in it. The original
What?
Troll movie.
Yep.
I had not seen it. I've not seen it. Because they're completely unrelated and they have nothing to do with each other at all. But they're like, yeah,
Well, 'cause
let's call it Troll 2.
the
And
original
not tell
That's
and
trolling
not
right
tell
there.
the directors or anyone or anything. And then they found out later, they're like, oh, okay, I guess that's fine. So that
'Cause-
wasn't their fault. That was the distributor's fault.
because the original title of this movie was gonna be Goblins.
Yeah, it was
which
gonna be goblins.
would make sense.
They weren't that crazy that they were like, you know what, let's just call it something else, that would be cool. What if we just mix it up?
Keep
But
you
yeah.
keep you on your toes. Keep you guessing. I said
But
keep
the-
your toes first.
Keep your toes. You
Keep
should.
your toes, babes.
I think
Important
that's-
advice.
Really good advice. But as far as the actors seeing this movie, like 90% of them didn't see it for a while. Like the Joshua, what's his name? Michael Stevenson. He didn't see it till a year after it came out. He got it as a Christmas present, the VHS, and he put it in with his family, put it into the VHS player. They sat down as a family on Christmas. And he like wanted to cry after he saw it because he was like, I thought I was like the big man on campus, that this was going to launch my career. I watched it. And I was like, it's terrible. And he was so upset. A bunch of other, I don't think George Hardy saw it for like a few years, right? He didn't see it for a few years afterwards. Like, I don't think that the Holly, I don't think she saw it for a while. And then when she saw it, it absolutely ruined her life. So
She took it off her resume. Like she's like an actress now. And she was like, no,
Is she?
I
Oh my god.
I won't let anyone. I know her for she was like the mom in the Little Scene Disney Channel original movie, Read It and Weep.
Oh,
no way.
Classic.
Oh, good. Okay. I was looking at her IMDb and I was like, did she says in the documentary like 40 times, like, I'm an actress, I'm an actress, I'm an actress. And I'm like, okay, but was she ever in anything? And she was. That's a great film. It's a fun, wonderful film. Love you, Holly. Good job.
Yeah, I guess she changed her name. She did like 2 movies as Connie McFarland, and then she changed her name to Connie Young, it seems.
She got married.
But her maybe.
Yeah, she did.
Her main photo on IMDb is from Troll 2, so she does not want that to be her legacy. It might be worth investing in IMDb Pro, trying to change that up.
well, now Troll 2 is like an actual
Her moment.
cult classic. So
Sure.
like it's a big fun
Making
deal.
the con circuit, etc.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. I mean, it's sort of become a Rocky Horror in that you
Yeah.
get those audience screenings. You get like there's so many like moments from this that have become memes. It's just one of those films that has really taken on a life of its own. And I think, I feel we all watch a lot of bad movies, right? But I
Mhm.
think
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a specific art to a truly spectacularly bad movie. And to me, this is one of the greats because I feel like it you can have a bad performance or a bad director or a bad script or whatever, but this is one of those rare movies that does all of those things.
Yeah,
And
I was just gonna say it runs the gambit.
it
Well,
just
apparently-
coalesces into something beautiful.
It
Yeah, I mean,
really does.
like you were saying, they're Italian. They wrote the movies. Apparently, per IMDb, you guys all watched this documentary. I have not seen it. But IMDb trivia would have me believe that the actors were like, would you like us to ad-lib slightly more natural lines for this role? So it sounds like it is from native English speakers. And they were like, absolutely not. Fuck
Yep.
you for asking.
Yep.
You're going to say the lines as written, you little bitches.
Exactly. He had a vision. Okay. Claudio had a vision. He was like, I need you to say it like this. He's like, apparently his biggest direction, like his most common direction was like bigger.
And they delivered what he
They gave
asked
big.
for.
It
they
do
gave
be
big.
big. It do be big.
It do be big.
Okay, but before we close the door on Rosella, like you were saying earlier, I know we've kind of moved away, but I'd like to move us back because I actually have an impression of what I imagine her thoughts were at the time. This is her on the phone with a friend after she's just learned that a bunch of people are vegetarians now. She goes, yeah, and they all just keep saying how cutting out meat is purifying their body of toxins or whatever. Like, what does their blood even need to be so pure for? What, so they can get eaten by goblins or something? And then that was her light bulb. And then immediately was like, you guys have an idea. Probably, I assume.
That's got to be exactly what happened. I think that you just saw through time
they're
and saw
purifying
that
your
moment.
blood. Oh, what, for goblins? Yeah, I think probably. It's the only natural conclusion.
Also,
I love that.
No, for sure. And also, in like half these articles, she's like, it's actually about environmentalism. And I'm like,
Oh, is it?
Oh, bestie.
Oh my God. But okay, the concept in and of itself is just so fucking funny. Like, we get the Princess Bride opening. Wonderful. I am wearing, in honor of the opening segment, which is a beautiful retrospective on the beginnings of the Trolls, where a young man in a Peter Pan type, Robin Hood type hat, frolicking through the forest, is accosted by trolls, and then the troll turns into a hot, sexy lady with the worst fake freckles that anyone has ever seen in the entire world ever. And so I put on my own fake freckles today as a little honor, nod there. But really, honestly, maybe that's where the freckles trend began, but people were too scared to do it because they're like, that looked so terrible. There's something there, but she did it so bad, we have to wait 25 years for it to come back again.
There's a lot of freckles in this movie. Joshua has some great freckles.
Oh,
There's
those are real.
Of, close-ups of him just like looking horrified, and you're like,
he's so funny.
He's got some good freckles.
But yeah, the whole concept of this movie is just preposterous from the get, because it's like, why would you want to go like work the fields of a farm for a month as your vacation? Like, that's the concept. This family, the Waits, are doing a family swap with a family from Nilbog. Think about that word. Write it down.
I've got some comments on Nilbog. I've got some thoughts on Nilbog.
I'm upset. I'm not letting you say them yet. And the thing that I didn't notice the first time I rewatched this was that she, like, basically there's Holly. Holly is the sister, and she is hilarious and loves to work out. And she has a shitty boyfriend whose name is Elliot. He breaks into her house, and he does. And he has like this troop of friends, fuckboy friends, who that he never leaves alone. And she's like, I need you to prove to me that you love me more than your friends. So come with me tomorrow. Tonight, it's midnight right now. Tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., I need you to drop your entire life for an entire month and come on my family vacation. And he's like, of course.
Yeah, no need for parental permission. No need to discuss it with anybody at home. He is prepared to take off for the wilderness.
But the best part is that he doesn't just say my friends. He's always like, my boys.
My boys.
She calls them his lovely little boys at one point, and I was like, okay, we're making choices here. We're making strong choices.
She's also physically abusive. She's also physically abusive to Elliot throughout the film. Not gonna say he doesn't deserve one punch, but he gets a lot of them. She knees him in the balls immediately, and he's like, "What are you?"
You deserve that. If I was doing my workout in my like late 80s, early 90s Jane Fonda type like workout gear, and you snuck in through my window while I had my headphones on, I would also punch you in the balls.
And then he says, I'm the victim of a nocturnal rapture. And he's like, I need to release my whatever he says. That is asking for trouble, frankly.
Very gross. She's like, release it in the bathroom.
Yeah, she says, release your instincts in the bathroom. And he goes, are you nuts? Are you trying to turn me into a homo? Wow, incredible dialogue. And she says, it wouldn't be too hard if my father discovers you here. He'd cut off your little nuts and eat them,
and she delivers that in a way that no one has ever spoken before and never will again. It's just,
I believed her though.
Normal way that teenagers talk.
Yes.
These Italian film producers were like, this is exactly how teenagers speak.
They nailed it. They
were on the pulse of Gen X teens at the time, like they finger on the pulse right there.
Mhm.
It's honestly uncanny. It's absolutely spectacular. But I mean, that immediately, it doesn't immediately cut to, but I just want to talk about the car scene really quickly. On their journey to Nilbog, Elliot didn't show. And so everyone's
Can
fighting.
you believe it?
I can't
Shocking.
believe
I'm
it. I
shocked.
can't
I was
believe it.
shocked.
I thought he really cared about her, but I guess he chose his boys in the end. But the mom in this movie, what is the mom's name? And what is the actress's name?
I truly have no
Diana
idea.
Waits.
Oh.
Diana Waits is the name of the character. And
And
the
her name's
actress is
Margot.
Margot Prey. And Margot Prey was probably one of the more disturbing parts of the documentary, learning about her. Yeah, look into those eyes, see what you see, and it's just exactly that for how she is acting now. Very, very disturbing part of the movie, part of the documentary. But her performance in this movie is like truly like an alien from outer space, like more so than many of the other characters too. Like her eyes, there's something going on at all times with her fucking eyes, like just horror behind those eyes, even in the most mundane part. Like she's trying to get everyone to be happy on the car ride over, right? And she's just like, Joshua, why don't you sing that song that I love so much?
That song that I love so much.
And it's fucking row, row, row your boat. And then they do that thing where you like start it, like
You sing it in the round.
Yeah, in the round. Oh my God. It's like that is the song that calls the devil to earth. Like that rendition right
row,
there.
Row, row your boat gently
Row,
down the
row,
street.
row your boat
Merrily,
gently
merrily,
down the street.
merrily,
That's how you guys are all gonna
row,
know
row.
it.
It's a four
Okay,
part.
Devin, your
I know. I looked up the term, what that term was. It's round. And then the first example listed of songs that are commonly sang in the round was row, row, row your boat. And I was
Boat.
like, well, I guess it's established.
Also, it's
They
probably
did
in the
their
public domain
research.
and they didn't have to
Oh, yeah.
pay any
True.
money
Well,
for
there's
it.
Sing that
definitely
song I
that.
love so much. I fucking love row, row, row your boat. Oh my
It's a bop. What are
God,
you
that
talking
is my
about?
jam. Also, just another point to point out in this film, there's a moment where Diana tries to give Joshua a sandwich in the car and he says no. And I've never seen someone more deeply upset about a sandwich before. Like she looks like he punched her in the face. Like she's so sad that he won't eat her sandwich. So like that's the acting chops we're talking about here. But I just want to point out that like actually the horror sequence that takes place in the car with Joshua's nightmare is pretty scary. That's probably the scariest part of the whole movie is that dream sequence.
They do have some interesting camera shots and camera work in this movie. Like I will say in the opener, when we see Peter with the goblins, Monica, they're not trolls, they're goblins, and how dare you?
I'm so sorry.
Gabagools?
Yeah, formal apology, please. But when we see Peter with the goblins, there's this one point where he like lies down and then Joshua sits up in his place and then it cuts to Joshua back in his bed. And I was like, okay, that was effective. Like that was
so
interesting
funny.
visual storytelling. I liked that. And then when they're in the car in that scene, they like shoot the parents from these like very low, sinister angles with like their shadowed faces. I thought they had some interesting. They made some points. They made some points as filmmakers.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, for sure. And we also get to see like plant branches sticking out of a child's stomach. Like that's always fun.
Ideal.
Yeah, and
but
there's a
here's
little
my
bit of
thing.
blood.
I love all the green chlorophyll blood in this movie. You know, it's a
Oh.
nice.
I hate it.
I love
swap
it.
up. I
love that it
love
pours
it.
from your face.
It looks like Nickelodeon slime. I feel like it's yeah.
And the reason that they had that was because they wanted a PG-13 rating. And so that was like part of like the parameters for Rosella writing this. She was like, okay, I can't use blood. So I have to do something scary that's not blood. Oh, chlorophyll like sweat slime. That's it. That's it.
Sweat
That's
slime.
the answer.
The logical next step. Absolutely.
It makes sense. And it is visually stunning.
For me, I
sure.
will say the scary the only part of this movie that I do find slightly unsettling is when they do get into the town of Nilbog and they see all the creepy neighbors staring at them, just like silently
So
dead-eyed, because like
creepy.
to me, like small insular towns are actually one of the scariest things that I can think of.
Oh
no,
yeah.
seriously. And oh my God. Watching the church sequence that we get a little later on, that is just so incredible too, where they're all like religious fanatics about this about this vegetarian lifestyle. And the pastor who like had also talk about haunting eyes. The pastor's like just starts listing types of meat, hamburgers, and everyone's like, oh,
Ah!
it's incredible. It's so good. But okay, there's another moment that is a small moment, but it's so beautiful, and this is becomes like a trope within the film. When the Waits family meets up with the Nilbogian family, that they're swapping with. That's a real term, Nilbogian. You first start to see that everybody has those fucking clover moles, which like what an incredible thing that all of the trolls have those. All the
Goblins. Oh my
sorry.
God. Wow.
Chelsea, please. But all of them have the like clovers. It's just so funny and they look terrible. Part of this article I read was all like quotes from one of the makeup ladies, and she seems amazing. She's every single thing that she had to like come up with, she had to come up with like the night before. Like the mask of bark that one of the characters wears, like she was told about that the night before. Like everything was like last second, and I would say like with that she fucking knocked it out of the park. But as that family leaves, one of the son of the Nilbogian family throws a ball at Joshua, and on the ball it says like in I think what looks like hot glue that someone colored over with a green Sharpie. Yeah. It says like, you better eat before we eat you. It's just like, why would this kid like give up the game so early on? Like this is not in his best interest if he's trying to get dinner later by eating this family. But the acting that we get from Joshua in that moment afterwards is literally the best thing I've ever seen. He looks so overly pissed. He's like about to fuck that family up. He's like, I swear to God. And he throws the ball. Oh God. He did it. He really he threw it all on the ground. He left it all on the dance floor. And it was beautiful. But that brings us into the house, and there's an early moment in this film which is one of the like top 10 most iconic moments in the film. I don't know if there's quite 10, but there's at least 3 that come to mind. And that is the hospitality sequence. And
iconic.
I do have a question before we get to the major point of that though, which is obviously we've talked about the chlorophyll, green sweat, blood, goo, etc. Why is there also like, what's the deal with the red apples and the red juice on the table? Obviously the apples come back around, but like, why is everything else green except for that? Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Was there any insight in the documentary where they just like they had plans at one point to have a variety of colors involved in this movie, and then they scrapped it later on?
It wasn't I feel like the apple's just like a red herring kind of thing. Be like, remember this for later. Or not red herring. I don't know. What's it? Chekhov's gun. I was saying the wrong thing. Sorry.
Terms, cinematography,
terms,
movie language.
But yeah, I mean, literally everything else that can get you is green. So like, I think that they were just like, oh, here's some red juice too. I don't know why the red juice is there.
From the apples, maybe, but that's not how apples work to my knowledge.
Chelsea, I think you're giving them more credit. I definitely
you're giving them way more credit.
I think they thought about everything that went into this movie, and how dare you for not giving them enough credit? These are artistes.
They filmed this in 3 weeks with a $100,000 budget. Like there just wasn't time. They're also filming another movie called The Crawlers at the exact same time.
How interesting. Also in Utah? I mean, it has to be, right?
No, I'm in the same place at the same time.
Just like down the street.
Yeah. I don't know all of the logistics of it, but yeah, like they were like filming them concurrently. So it was something very special. But yeah, I mean, you love to see the Nilbagian hospitality. They leave out a whole spread. How delicious. Like, wow, they love green icing. How fun for them. Like, that sounds so great, but it's not getting past Joshua. It's certainly not getting past Grandpa.
Grandpa Seth.
I love that Grandpa Seth can control space and time.
True. He's not an idea guy. He is like, Joshua, you have to come up with an idea, but I can stop. I don't know that he can control space and time. Maybe actually I would love to discuss further. It seems to me it's one of those things where it's like, okay, was this another very specific intentional art house choice that everybody's drink is still kind of sloshing around in their glass, etc., which seems to me to imply that he has frozen the family, but time passes around them.
Yes. That was intentional. For
That,
sure.
yeah, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm open to other interpretations, you know.
And he can't even totally freeze the family because the mom blinks. She fully blinks.
The acting in that scene is just pretty extraordinary, just overall. I mean, and we can just talk about the acting overall. I mean, there are just so many line readings that it's like, I mean, the script itself was so weird, but also sometimes some of the actors just say things in a way that makes them so much weirder too. And like specifically like some of the dinner table scenes, and then, you know, you don't piss on hospitality is just the weirdest line reading I've ever seen. And
no, I love it.
I'm saying I love it too, but it's incredibly bizarre. And the whole bit with his belt and just,
oh my God.
I love that part. Okay. I love that part so much.
Let's talk about the belt.
But let's go back to the beginning of that scene.
Yeah. So of course,
Sorry, I'm rushing
Joshua
so much to say at all times. I get it.
Has 30 seconds, which is actually more like a minute in actual time in this film, to decide what to do. And apparently, originally, what he was going to do to stop the family from eating all the food was jump on the table and say, I'm possessed. And that was going to be what it was. But then Claudio was like, wait, no, you have to piss on it.
Which is the right call. 100%
the right choice.
Call.
It was the right choice.
It snapped me to full attention. I clapped my hand over my mouth. I think that does elevate this film from what it could have been without that. I don't know where we would have been without that scene. That
it wouldn't be the cult. It wouldn't be the cult classic that it is without him pissing on all of the food. And the way that they do a lot of really bad cuts in this movie, where like things just cut off when they really shouldn't yet. But that cut was great. Cuts it off right at the right time, goes straight to the like clearing off the food off the plates into the trash can
and being like, this stinks, this smells. She calls the sister Holly, says that he should get a big spanking for a little shit or something like that.
So
just
funny.
Iconic.
And then we get that iconic scene with George Hardy as Michael Waits, where he's has thrown Josh over his shoulder. I love that. Okay, because it's so weird that like the names are written on the doors. And I love that's there for that line, because he's like, you see these writings? Do you know what it means? Hospitality.
There's a great scene in the documentary where they all go back to the house where they filmed this and they reenact it.
Oh yeah.
George Hardy like holding like grown-up 30-year-old Michael Stevenson over his shoulder.
It's incredible.
It's so worth it.
But
That's
okay.
stunning. But yeah, the belt scene is fucked up because
we all thought that he was gonna pee on him, right? Because that's what I thought.
No, that's not what I thought.
I was watching it yesterday and I was really high and I was like, does he pee on him?
I did. The first time I saw this movie, I thought, is it eye for an eye? Is it, piss for
Is
piss?
he about to piss on him?
Devin. Oh my God, what's wrong
Thank
with
you, Devin. Thank you,
This is a
Devin.
weird
I'm
movie.
not
Weird
alone.
stuff happens.
It could have gone there.
That is next level weirdo.
Well, it didn't go there.
Well, I thought it was gonna be like Silent Night, Deadly Night, which again, so much in common with Silent Night, Deadly Night. Both filmed in Utah, both bad, good, low budget, random little spookies. and there's a scene where a kid gets like belted as corporal punishment in Silent Night, Deadly Night. And the mom is yelling up as he's being carried up the stairs. The mom is being like, "Don't hit him," whatever his name is. "Please don't hit him." And so when he took his belt off, I thought it was going to be like a spanking with the belt.
Oh yeah,
moment.
I think that's what they intended you to think.
Yes.
But Devin and I went to a dark place, and then
Yes, weird about it.
and then Michael Waits is just a better man than any of us could have expected. He's just that good.
What he does is so haunting also, because he's like, his thing is like, "I'm not gonna belt you. I'm just gonna impress upon you the fraught realities of poverty." Like, he just,
It's a great teachable moment. Okay, he took for granted all of that food. Well, when Michael was young, he didn't have food. Okay.
that whole scene is just honestly wild.
It's gorgeous.
But I want to talk also about that blonde girl in the woods that we see when we cut back to the boys.
Yes.
Because she's
beautiful.
like the only other stranger in any of this that's not a goblin and not part of the family.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, like, were there more family swaps going on? Do they have
I think they lure people in, and then if anyone like car trouble or anything like that, they're just like, "Oh,
Okay.
you hungry? Here's a snack," and they eat you.
You don't think this was like a monthly or yearly like harvest festival or anything like that? You don't think it was like a special occasion? You think this is just like year round they're finding ways to tourist trap people in?
I think they're always hungry, you know? They're just like you and I, Chelsea.
Sure.
Hungry
Just
every
like
day.
us.
I
Yeah.
have a question.
Yes.
So, do they have to eat humans turned into plants? Why can't they just grow vegetables?
Well, they say in the beginning when Grandpa Seth is telling the story that half man, half plant, goblin's favorite food. So it needs to be the hybrid. That's their favesy. Maybe they can eat normal people. Maybe they can eat normal plants. It's just not ideal. It doesn't give them
They
their
don't eat
full
people.
dietary.
They can't eat meat. They can't eat meat because meat is what kills them in the end. They literally recoil from meat and are like,
Oh, yeah. I remember that scene, and then I was like, I don't really know why that happened, and I didn't make it that far in my rewatch. But is that the sandwich the mom gives him at the beginning?
No.
Where does he get bologna from? So much bologna
From his grandpa. His grandpa gives him a backpack and he says, "Joshua, do not open this until you really need it. When you really need it most, open this." Like, he literally says it twice like that. And then he really needs it most. He's being held down by all the trolls, and he opens it and he pulls out what's in there but a double bologna sandwich.
Not even double. It's literally like 10 pieces of
but
bologna.
he calls it a double bologna sandwich.
Calls it a double-decker bologna.
His
double-decker
normal bologna
bologna
only has 5 slices. He's already a big bologna guy. He's just doubling up for safety
It is
now.
truly a shocking amount of bologna. But okay, back to that blonde girl, because she brings, this is where the action really starts getting going. I mean, we already had a little piss play, but we're moving past that. So I just love that this one man, one of the boys, and I'm going to try to find his name if IMDb lets me. Is it
That's
Drew?
Arnold,
Arnold.
played by Darren Ewing.
Yes, Arnold.
Yes, played by Darren Ewing.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Obviously.
He's an amazing part of the documentary. He's really funny. He's a down bitch, and I love that about him. But Arnold, one, like, he sees this woman, she's obviously in distress, does not ask his friends for help. They're too busy drinking Mountain Dew and watching movies about monkeys in the van. But he just immediately chases her down and full-fledged tackles her. Like, how is that the response? He tackles her and like puts his face on her boobs too. Like, that's the answer for sure. And I just really like when he is first confronted with the goblins, he has literally no reaction. Like, no fear, no what the fuck. He's like, who are they? Like it's like a dude who walked up, like some random dude. Not a bunch of small creatures with spears.
Also, can we talk about how when the goblins are in goblin form, they have spears, but when they're in human form, they have shotguns?
The natural answer to spears, I guess. Spears are analog shotguns.
But don't
In
you think
their
if
own
you were
way.
the goblins like hunting people in the woods, I feel like having a shotgun would be more helpful than having
Oh,
a spear.
Yeah, maybe
It's not
they
their
don't-
culture, Jevin.
Okay,
Maybe they don't have the
don't want to be culturally insensitive to goblin
goblins.
lore.
the goblin. Yeah. No, the Stonehenge stone doesn't
The
allow
people
it.
of Neilbog, okay?
Maybe they don't have the dexterity in their little fingers to pull the trigger, you know?
Fair.
But they do have an awesome shot. Like I love Arnold is just like, "Hey guys, you're barking up the wrong tree with this bitch. Like you should just turn around and walk back." And he walks back to her and he's like, "Handled it, babe." And immediately gets speared in the shoulder. And his reaction is so good. I love his acting. He is a shining light in this film.
Everything he's so good. He's the one who has probably the most iconic, gif from this movie
Oh.
is him going, "Oh, they're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me. Oh my god!" And
No.
it's just,
Oh my god.
oh my god.
For literally like 20 seconds.
That's the
That
only
is-
thing I knew about this movie going in, is that people say that line and that it's insane. And I did not know in what way. And I knew it had, because of our previous movies this month, Monica made it pretty clear last week on Invasion of the Body Snatchers that there were some through lines
Oh yeah.
between Little Shop of Horrors, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Troll 2.
And I'll do the
um,
reveal. I'll do the reveal now. You
I
didn't
have
know
some
it.
guesses though. Yeah.
You did. Do you want to guess or do you want me to reveal it? Because it's not that exciting.
Okay, you go ahead and just reveal it then, so I'm not building up too much anticipation.
You didn't know it, but for the past 3 weeks, you have been participating in Plant Month.
Yeah,
Plant
yeah.
3 weeks.
But
here on
also-
Spooky Tuesday.
Dental 3 weeks.
Dental 3 dental
Nicely
3
true.
weeks, but I like Plant Month. Amazon. Okay, Anaconda could also be a part of Plant Month because there are a lot of plants in the Amazon basin, but it's too much of a stretch. And so we're going with Plant 3 weeks.
Sure.
It has a beautiful ring to it. I do have to say.
I thought so too. Honestly, we should have done more of a marketing push with that. I think people would have, it just would have taken off.
Here's the thing.
Have we said yet the dental tie-in? Would you like that to be your moment, Sydney?
Oh, okay. Fun fact.
I don't think that people understand why this is dental 3 weeks or whatever you just said.
Dental 3 weeks. Okay, well, you have what movie? Little Shop of Horrors, Evil Dentist, and then
Orange,
Jeffrey
yeah.
was a dentist.
Also
And
evil.
Invasion
Like
of the Body
Body
Snatchers.
Snatchers.
Awful. And then you have the dad in this movie who's played by George Hardy. He is a dentist in real life, but not only is he a dentist in real life, he is the dentist of my hometown of Alexander City, Alabama. Like
We love him.
he went to
George Hardy, DDS.
he went to Auburn. I went to Auburn. He hangs out on Lake Martin. I hang out on Lake Martin. My aunt is in the documentary talking about being his friend, and I had no
Yeah.
idea. And I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, Lila, okay."
See, Lila, you're here.
Lila.
And it's like they're talking about in the documentary. They're like, they showed my childhood movie theater that you can get. We would always get popcorn with Reese's Pieces in it and a giant pickle.
That sounds so good.
Incredible.
This is
What
how
an
Pickle
amazing
2
combination.
weeks
I
as
would
well,
love to eat
so.
that while watching Troll 2. Wow.
Sydney cut out our pickle
Whoa.
discussions from last episode, but I would also just like it on the record that now pickles have come up 2 weeks in a
Sorry.
row.
It's pickle 2 weeks.
It's pickle 2 weeks, baby.
But like it was so funny because like they're talking about doing all these fundraisers for the school, which is the school my dad went to, like all this kind of stuff, and you're just like, Alexander City, Alabama, hello.
There we
It's
go.
all in the fucking family. And so, Sydney, I need you to hit up your girl Lila and be like, babe, connect us. Get us in with the good doctor.
Sydney, I need you to go get your teeth cleaned.
I was going to say, you need to go get some
Yeah.
dental work. That is not a judgment on you. That is a judgment on I want you to go befriend George Hardy.
Sydney,
Yeah,
can you
I-
knock out a crown?
But Sydney, it's wonderful to have to have such a hometown connection here on this episode. It's really
With
special.
Troll. But here's the thing. If I was to have any sort of like, yes.
Of course it would be. Yeah.
it
here's
would
my
be
connect.
this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Of
special.
course it
It's
would be.
beautiful.
It
I'm
would
really
be this
happy.
movie.
I'm really happy about it. Okay, so we've talked about Arnold. Not the standout performance of it all, but I really briefly want to talk about Drew, who's our
Mhm.
blondie.
I want to talk about how all these boys are sleeping shirtless in bed together.
Oh yes, let's talk about
That's
that first.
gay.
Gay.
That's very gay.
It's gay.
Drew and Brent, I'm pretty sure, are legit cuddling at one point. Elliot and Brent maybe are in the bed shirtless. There's multiple allusions to them all being homos together, including that line, "Are you trying to turn me into a homo?" It's she's always like, "It's me or your squad of lovely little boys." There's a lot going on there that she says to them at one point, like, "You guys all sleep in bed together and I'm not down for group sex."
Love that line.
Good for her knowing her
the sexual
boundaries.
tension is palpable with the boys. Something. What are they gonna do? They're sitting in this RV drinking Mountain Dew.
Drinking vintage Mountain Dew.
What comes next?
Stunning.
What comes next? An orgy.
I was gonna say
Everything is
kissing,
there.
but you're right. I think they would go straight to orgy.
Mountain Dew is an
I think there's a
aphrodisiac.
history there. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like you're right. She says, Holly says that Elliot is a virgin, but we never hear that from Elliot's mouth himself. So she's being like, he says, "What's wrong with having friends?" She says, "Nothing if you want to remain a virgin for life and you take them to bed with you too. And I don't believe in group sex." That's where that line comes in. He was just quietly in that moment, probably being like, "Okay, we'll do the group sex without you, as we've been doing."
Yeah, he's just never had sex with a woman.
He's excited though. They're all excited. That's why they're so excited to meet some Nilbogian local gals. Because they're trying to
want
spice
more
things
people
up. They
in
want
their
a little
group sex.
Yes, they're all bisexual icons, and they're just trying to diversify
their portfolio,
their group sex. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they're just a bunch of studly young men. Good for them. They're all really cute. I would say that they're all cuties. So we get a little eye candy here. Just a little side note. The guy who plays Elliot, his name is Jason Wright, and he is New York Times bestselling author now.
What?
See that in the credits for the documentary, Devin and Chelsea?
I did
Not
see
Chelsea. I'm sorry, Sydney.
Did not see that.
Yeah, I looked him up, and it's like I don't.
He wrote a bunch of like Christmas novels.
Yeah, they're like Christmas Christmas books, like cute, wholesome, like beach reads, that kind of shit. That's his MO. So good for him. Some people in this film have gone on to success in different arenas. But anyway, Drew is played by Jason. I think his last name is Stedman. And his storyline is fun. Whatever, it's fine. But the best part about his storyline is that he's running to go get food, right? He's going to run miles to go get food, which I was like, wow, I would be so mad at my friends if they made me run to go get food. But he gets stopped by a cop who goes to pick him up, and the cop's name is Sheriff Gene Freak. That's his real name. That's the name.
Incredible.
Gene Freak. Hi, I'm Sheriff Gene Freak. Adam and I lost it. Absolutely lost it. Absolutely lost it. That's gonna be if I had a drag persona or whatever, any sort of alter ego, it would be Sheriff Gene Freak. Like, that's it. Like, it's already done. The name is already done. Like, you don't need to add anything to it.
It has a beautiful musicality to it.
It really does. It really does. I also love Officer or Sheriff Gene Freak's hilarious, like, maniacal laughter when Drew's like, "Where are the hot chicks in this part of town?" And he's just like pulls away like, absolutely fucking not. So good. But Drew's fine. He does some stuff, but Brent is the boy that has the most exciting part of this movie for me. And it's a part of the movie that we have to discuss now. We're going there. Vice has called it maybe the best food scene in cinema ever, and I would have to agree. And that is the corn scene in the RV. It is.
I forgot about that. I 100%
how could you forget?
Forgot about that.
It's 100% my favorite part. It's my favorite part. We're not giving enough love to Credence, By the way, the woman who plays Credence, Deborah Reed, icon, hottie. The son from the Nilbagian family, that's her IRL son.
Apparently, they
fun
auditioned
fact.
separately. The filmmakers didn't know they were related when they cast them in their separate roles. That's
Wow.
IMDb trivia. Crazy, right?
But she
Incredible.
in some interviews that I read, people were like, Deborah, I think, is the only person who understood what this movie was and what it needed to be, and her performance matches it. And yes, she absolutely fucking bodied this role. She bodied it. She did not play around. The clothes she's wearing, those are her clothes from her closet. That's from Deborah Reed's closet.
She left no crumbs in this role.
Oh,
absolutely none.
talk about leaving it all on the dance floor. Like, that's it right there. Those crusty lips, the weird Joker smile thing.
The makeup looks like she's in like a high school production of like The Crucible or something, where it's like, you know, like fake old age makeup. And I love her intro because like they show up at her weird church house thing and she's like, yes, I am Credence, I have family from Stonehenge, which is obviously how I introduce myself in every new situation.
As you should,
obviously.
it's true.
Yeah. That's I go on a whole monologue about my family's history and how all these things, and they're all just like, that's cool, can we use your phone?
Yeah. And
That's
she also
cool,
is like, she's got 3 names. She has 3 names. And so that's how you know she's gonna kill people. But like, she like introduces herself as like
Serial killer
Credence
style. Yeah.
Leonardi Jaludi. I don't know how to say her last name. I'm so sorry. But she's just incredible. So she looks all fucked up crazy the whole time, like with her crusty lips and all of that. And amazing gray hair that looks totally realistic and not like spray paint in her hair at all. Not like doesn't look like me when I put in too much dry shampoo. Not at all. But at one point she uses the Stonehenge stone, excuse me, to become young. Right after her hand gets chopped off. There's also a part where her hand gets chopped off by the dead grandpa. Just, you know, in case you didn't know. And so she becomes a hot, young, sexy thing. And she somehow astral projects her ass into the TV in the RV.
I should ask for astral projection tips, quite frankly.
You really
like
should.
that's the kind of
Hey,
astral
I bring that
projection
a
I'm looking
lot.
for.
Hit her up. She's on YouTube.
Oh yeah, she's all over YouTube, and it's interesting. And I also linked an interview with her in the references. Very fun. You should listen to it for sure. She's sadly not in the documentary, and it was a gaping hole in the film. But yeah, she astral projects into the TV. Brent's like, "What's this program?" And she like talks to the TV. This isn't a program. I'm not a program. And this is one of the moments. There's a moment in this scene where I think Brent just completely misinterpreted how he was supposed to say one of the lines and makes it make even less sense. But like, she of course comes to her sexual encounter with Brent armed with a corn cob.
Country girls make do.
You should. No, you
As
should
one
have that.
does.
You
Country
gotta
girls
be
make
safe.
do.
You can't practice safe sex without a corn cob, okay? And she immediately tries to force Brent to eat the corn cob. And I think he's supposed to say, I think he was supposed to say it like, no, I like popcorn. But he says it like, I like popcorn. Like, this isn't popcorn. This is a corn cob. They're very different. And she's like, oh, don't worry. We just need to heat it up, which is a sexy line. Would work on me. And they make through the corn cob.
Right. Also, this is my moment. I was talking to Monica and Chelsea earlier, and I mentioned something, and they were like, "Oh, I can't wait to figure out how you're gonna bring this up." And baby, this is how I'm gonna bring it up.
Oh God damn it.
Okay.
Devin, I'm so sorry. Devin, I'm so sorry.
I appreciate the apology in advance.
So, you know, she's trying to do sexy things with corn, right? And, you know, the town that they're in is called Neilbog. So now when you're trying to do some sexy times with your partner, you got to say, I'm trying to kneel your bog.
I think it's going to catch on.
Catch on.
am thrilled to see if you can make it happen, but
I
I
have
will
no
not be
words.
participating in kneeling any bogs.
I hope that we all have the opportunity to kneel a bog sometime soon.
I hope everybody can kneel a bog once in their life, quite frankly.
If that's what they want, then that's what they should have.
Let the
and
people do what they want, okay?
and to have an opportunity to kneel a bog with corn involved, specifically popcorn, that's really wonderful. I think that this movie became a brainworm in my head yesterday because I watched the movie. There's so much popcorn in this movie that like it fills an entire RV. It's that powerful. And then I ate almost exactly that much popcorn when I went and saw Batman out in the day. And I still feel terrible even now. It's been a full 24 hours.
Oh no.
It's okay. It's all right. I think I got most of the stuff out of my teeth. But a big plot hole in this movie is that Brent, we never find out what happens to him.
Maybe he dies. Like,
No,
we
he
get so few deaths in this movie. Maybe we just got to take that one.
No, he doesn't die because this is what you see. You see him wake up from the popcorn death, covered in popcorn. It's filling up his whole mouth. It's covered his whole eyes. It's covered his entire body.
I hated that.
And he's like, no more popcorn, please. And then it cuts to outside of the RV where Credence is looking in the side view mirror and is old again. And she's like, no! And she screams so loud that all the goblins that are about to close in and murder the Waits family back at the house hear her and like come to her call. They just like zap out of there, and that's what saves the Waits family at that moment. And so she like zaps out of there too to go fuck up Joshua in her barn. And Brent is left alone and is never seen again in the film. So I would like to think that he survived and has
literally drowned in the popcorn.
Yeah, he succumbed to his popcorn injuries, maybe.
Well, he got it out of his mouth. You see him get it out of his mouth.
But those crumbs were in his eyes. Those will get you.
It's weird too, because I thought that it would have been like him eating the corn turns him into green sludge, but like he would have been sweating green sweat by that point. So maybe she just was horny. Well, and she liked his mullet.
Doesn't it have to be green for them to turn into chlorophylls? And those popcorns were not green.
But the apples are not green.
But they're green on the inside.
Yeah.
Were they?
Yeah, they show it at the very end of the movie when he's coming down the stairs yelling, "Mommy, mommy!" Incredibly disturbing moment. And he passes the apple that's sitting on the table, and you can see that it's like sweating green on the inside.
It didn't look green when she was eating it, but you're right. Afterwards, we see green slime on
so there would have been some green there.
Okay, I already mentioned this, but can you just imagine you were a child when Troll 2 came out, 1990, maybe you rented it on VHS from Blockbuster or whatever. Perhaps you were at an impressionable age. 10 years later, green ketchup is hitting the stands in the marketplaces everywhere. Wouldn't you be scared?
No one saw this movie though.
That's fair.
But there's one child who's no longer
They're child was fucked up.
There's one person out there who was really fucked up by Shrek ketchup, and I just know it's because of this movie.
That would check out.
I bet you. I think that's that definitely.
Some little boys had a scary sleepover where they were like, "Oh, let's do a scary movie." They rented Troll 2 because their parents had seen Troll 1 a few years earlier, and they were like, "Oh, Troll, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, great!" So they got the sequel.
Love her,
love her, JLD. And they brought it home, and these boys had a hell of a slumber party. And then a few years later, they met up on, I assume, an AOL chat room to reconvene. And actually, I think somebody should write a horror movie about these teenage boys with the Shrek ketchup as a star.
It's got to be you, Chelsea.
You got to do it, Chelsea.
Maybe.
It's you, Chelsea.
This is your horror movie moment.
It's you.
And then everyone has to read the lines as written. No ad-libbing. I'm very specific about my vision. I'm going to come in just as hot, just as strong.
Bigger.
Bigger.
Wait, sorry. I'm on the IMDb page, and there was just like, I guess, like words that people associate with this movie are under it, and it's
just like a word cloud.
Corn, unintentionally funny, green fluid, mediocrity, inconsistency.
I choose to believe that green fluid mediocrity is one search term.
Green fluid mediocrity.
green
Yes,
fluid
Somewhere out
mediocrity.
there is green fluid
Green fluid
superiority.
mediocrity. Yeah.
And I would love to know what film that is.
I also will point out one of my favorite lines. This is around when they're starting to figure out, that the citizens of Nilbog are not as they seem.
Yeah.
And the dad at one point said, like, Holly's like, "Oh my God, I saw Grandpa Seth in the mirror." And the dad goes, "Are you still smoking dope, Holly?" The addition of still is so good. The fact that it would be one thing if he was just like, "Are you smoking dope?" Which would be an insane thing to say anyway. But are you still
smoking
dope?
That was one of
That
the
scene-
funniest scenes of the movie.
It's iconic.
good.
She's wearing a really, truly, frankly, gorgeous Garfield astrological shirt as an
Oh,
Aries.
wait.
She has that
That
whole
dance scene. You want to know the
Yes,
story of that
she
dance scene?
is a
Or unless you already
cheerleader.
know. Yeah. you
That's
already
all I know.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
there more to it?
Yeah, she's a cheerleader and she was just practicing her dance for school on set, and Claudio saw her doing the dance and was like, "It's going in the movie." She was like, "What? There's not enough space in this hallway to do the dance." He's like, "You're doing."
But yeah, that's where she does the "Dear Elliot Cooper, tomorrow morning will be your final judgment. Either me or your boys, take it or leave it. The beautiful Holly
Amazing.
waits, or your lovely little boys. Make a choice, Elliot."
You sound
And-
exactly like her.
Thank you.
Beautiful line rating.
I could
Incredible.
act on this level. I could not be a good actor, but I could do this, I think.
Yeah, we've
And maybe
got
I
the,
should. Maybe I will.
We've got the like D-list level tier acting chops down in this podcast. I was just thinking about that monologue from Fear that I did that one time. And I'm horrified that that's on the internet. Anyway,
We
this
love to
movie,
act occasionally.
We love to act. We love to sing. We're multi-talented. Devin, would you like to sing?
Not particularly, but thank you for the author.
She didn't even join us for Row, Row, Row Your Boat earlier. Clearly,
noticed
she's not
that. I
trying
noticed
to.
that.
Devin could play
She's-
the shit out of Row, Row, Row Your Boat on a violin.
I
True.
could.
Oh my
I
God,
could. I'll accompany you
us.
guys.
Oh my
Perfect.
God.
Wow.
Wow.
all a
Beautiful. We're starting a
team.
family band.
Wait, could you imagine
Um,
Devin just playing like a violin and us trying to sing and being like, "We're a band now"?
I want us to do that while drunk, but I don't want us to do it in a recorded setting because I don't want there to be proof.
No, I think we just got to jam first. We just got to get
we
into
just
our
got to
rhythm.
jam and feel it out.
Somebody's
you know?
mom have a
Feel out
garage
the
we can
vibes.
use.
Oh my God. Okay. So there's so many things to talk about with this movie. One more thing before we figure out what else we could possibly say. There's a man who is lit on fire. You know that thing? You know that thing where your grandpa who's dead gives you a Molotov cocktail? You know that
Clearly
thing?
that doesn't happen
Yeah.
to everybody.
You
Oh
know
my
that thing?
God.
I love that thing. I remember when my grandpa gave me my first Molotov cocktail, and it was a really special moment. We blew some shit up. It was great. No, it was so casual. You said he's not an idea man, but that's an idea right there.
That's true.
Grandpa
That's true.
Seth is an idea man.
He has his moments where they come to him like lightning strikes, but you can't put him on the spot. He doesn't work well under pressure.
No. But I like literally there's like no budget for this film, but they light a dude on fire. Like they actually lit that dude on fire. And you can see that he's wearing like heat protection gloves to keep himself safe, which I was happy to see that that
Yeah,
man was
great.
safe.
Uh-huh.
It's really
Yeah, I
beautiful.
don't know. I mean, I was looking back through the movies we've done before because I was like, I swear another movie also did green blood to avoid an R rating, maybe. And I don't remember for sure if it was Evil Dead, but there for sure was like some green blood and creamed corn as well in Evil Dead. So we've got green, we've got corn. We've got bodies dissolving. I think there's some clear references here to many different movies we've done before.
Oh yeah, this was really a product of its time. You know, taking taking themes and tropes from other iconic horrors to create its own iconic horror itself. It was just really wonderful to see.
There's like some society-esque moments, you know what I mean? There's one moment where somebody grabs Joshua by the face, and that was both Society and also My Bloody Valentine, where that one girl keeps getting picked up by the head.
Oh my God. That moment is so fucking funny. It's like when he's spying on the church scene and the pastor just grabs his face and he screams and it cuts so hard, so fast. It's like the most jarring cut I've ever seen. I was like, I felt like I got whiplash from that cut. Oh my God. Okay, what else do we need to talk about?
One of my other favorite things is we have to talk about the creepy store owner. The guy.
Thank you.
He's played by an actor named Don Packard, and who revealed they've tracked him down later for the documentary, and he revealed that he was actually a patient at a nearby mental hospital who was taking time off and decided to audition for this movie, and he filmed this while on break from the mental hospital, and he was like, I smoked so much marijuana and I have no memories of filming this at all, which is incredible because I feel like you can really feel that commitment in his performance.
Scary.
He is the scariest
incredible.
part. He is frightening.
Know what he said in the documentary, but in the IMDb has a moment from there, but apparently he said that he wasn't acting in his scenes. He really just felt that level of disturbed.
Yes.
And I talk about craft, I guess.
Method acting. Daniel Day-Lewis wishes.
Daniel Day-Lewis, who? Okay, like.
Mm-hmm.
In the documentary, he was like, I rewatched the movie and I was like, that's not acting. That's just a troubled man talking. Quote himself about himself. And he also said that he fucking hated the kid who played Joshua. And he said, I wanted to kill him. I hated him so much. He was so annoying. And like the way he said it, I was like, he wanted to fucking kill that kid.
Well, also what I don't know is, I don't know if he knows that the person interviewing him for the documentary is the kid, is Michael Stevenson.
God.
Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I wanted to kill that kid. Michael Stevenson's like, yeah, that kid was annoying.
He totally
who was
sucked.
that? Who was that kid? Oh man, thank you for bringing him up. He is such a delight. And I also really liked in the movie, in the documentary, they did like a lot of these scenes from like getting the actors to come to different screenings where like all these fans would show up, and like his part when they finally got him to come to one of the screenings, he just like sat in the crowd and like didn't come up for the Q&A, and they had to be like, hey, do you want to come up for the Q&A? And everyone cheered for him, and at first he was freaked out, but then he just like handed up and he fucking loved it and he killed it, and it was awesome. That was really fun to see. Unlike Claudio, who was a dick at all of the screenings. He's so mean. He literally told Drew, like the guy, not Drew, Brent, the guy who played Brent. He was like, yeah, I don't know what happened to my character. He just disappeared. And Claudio like yelled at him, like heckled him from the audience and was like, it was because you're so shit at acting that we cut all your parts out.
Yes, he did that.
Drag
He did
him.
do that. And then he walked away. He was
Brutal.
like, oh, actors. Nobody
spread their lies.
Nobody cares
Nobody
about
wants
the
to work
director.
these days. Gotta get your ass out of bed, go to work.
Incredible.
That's my. Do you guys know what I'm doing with that? Or
Kim Kardashian, yeah.
Okay, good. Cool.
We love a reference. One of my other favorite reveals from the documentary is, I think it's Jason Stedman who plays Drew. He's in the yellow shirt, and he talks about how he wore like the same yellow shirt for like the first like couple days of shooting.
Oh yeah.
He just lost his shirt, and so they told him to just go buy a yellow shirt, and he was like, don't you guys have like a wardrobe department that can go buy me a shirt? And they were like, no, just go buy a yellow shirt. So
they had a wardrobe department, but it was one person who was doing a lot, frankly. So
busy with all the green blood and the prosthetic like tree branch fingers, and no time to go buy another shirt.
George Hardy said those were all his shirts, and like he didn't walk away from the shoot with the same amount of shirts that he came with. Like they were taken. He didn't get them all back. And then also the guy who plays Arnold, when he is in like okay, another thing that really just like made me mad is like he turns into a plant and his legs like become a plant and he's in a pot. Like it's amazing. It's so cool. And they do not do a cool reveal on his legs being a plant at all. And it made me so mad. I was like, this is such a missed opportunity for something spooky. They're just like, oh yes, and his legs are a plant now. And there's no fanfare. But anyway, that for that scene, he had to stand for like 14 hours because they like did the makeup like on him standing there. So it's not like he could get out of the pot. He was like tied into the his own shoes, which they bolted to the inside of that pot. So he was just stuck like that for hours. And apparently he was like complaining because obvi I would be complaining too. And Claudio would just tell him to put the mouthpiece back in his mouth of like of the like wooden muzzle that he had to get him to shut up. Brutal.
Apparently, and again, tell me if this is true from the doc, but apparently they were only given like little bits of the script at a time to film this movie. So they had like no real concept of the larger story. And with all of this fanfare about Claudio's persona and the way that he acted, I choose to believe not that the script was not done at any given moment, not that there were script changes, but that he truly thought that this was going to be like the next blockbuster and he couldn't have everybody knowing all the reveals. You know what I mean? He had to hold it back. It was like the new Scream. He's like, we're filming alternate endings. Like nobody gets the whole story. We can't have anybody blabbing to the press. They had to have like top secret. Game of Thrones, you only get your pages. You have to give the script back at the end of the day. That's what I'm imagining for this on-set culture.
No,
I think that sounds good. That sounds correct.
I'm in agreement with you. Yeah. Okay, we have to move on to our segment soon, but I guess we should touch on the very bitter end. A second, just for a second. There's a lot to go over. They do kill all the trolls through the power of goodness in their souls, just by touching the Stonehenge stone, with the help of a double-decker bologna sandwich, of course. But I love that that's what saves them. They just touch the stone. Like, that's it. Like, there's nothing.
A little bologna, a little purity of spirit.
Yeah. And that's all you need. It is deeply horrifying when all the goblins die, though. Like, they're all like vomiting up the chlorophyll slime and their eyeballs are exploding and parts of their heads are exploding and it goes on for like way too long. It's awesome. It's awesome. And then just when you thought it was safe, you're not safe. They go home. Elliot's like, I'm gonna go home for a while. And Holly's like, yeah, I'm going to come with you. I'm like, I think he needs some space right now, dude. But okay, go for it.
She's been waiting to fuck this whole time, frankly. So let her go fuck her man.
All right. I mean, all of his boys are dead. I don't know if he's in the mood for loving at this time. But he might not know.
Well, now he doesn't have to choose between her and her friends. The choice has been made.
Yeah, so he should be down right then. Yeah, of course. Jeez, Chelsea. What the fuck? I'm kidding. But yeah, so that leaves where did George go? I don't know where did Michael the father go in this moment?
Oh, he's like, I gotta go to the office to take care of some stuff.
Yeah.
Like, your family is traumatized. Is this time like for the casual office? Jesus. And so Mama and Joshua are home alone. And that's when she starts munching on an apple because they haven't eaten in 48 hours. So they do be hungry. And I get that. And just the way that this ends, like Joshua starts hearing whispering, ominous whispering while he is upstairs. He like goes to find his mom. He like goes up and down the stairs like several times. It's very confusing. And the ball comes back into play. The ball from the beginning. They throw a ball
eat before we eat you.
And it says like, wow, mommy tastes good or something like
oh my God,
that.
you're right. It's like, mommy's so yummy.
Mommy's so yummy. It literally says mommy's so yummy.
Mommy is so yummy.
Mommy is so yummy. And he goes to find mommy because she said she's going to take a shower and there's a bunch of green goo in the shower. Bad sign. At first I was like, did she go down the drain? But no, it's much worse than that. He goes downstairs and he goes to the kitchen table and he sees his mommy's jelly boobies.
Why were they like that? Why did they
was
make that
beautiful.
artistic choice? I'm
And
not
they
even
show
sure
it
that I'm glad
so
that they
many
did.
times. I liked it because it was so disturbing. But there's like 5 trolls eating mommy boobies. And there's weirdly some fingers like around as well. And then the final, and then the kid is screaming, Avi. And then the final scene is they zoom in on one of the goblins' faces, and he just says, "Do you want some?" And then it's over. That's it.
Do you want
He left
some
it open for a
is an
sequel, you know?
incredible final line in a movie, though.
It's pretty incredible. I
It-
also, it feels so tonally different because like the rest of the movie is kind of like the effects aren't very good and you don't really like see them like really like eating people, you know, it's all sort of like, you know, happens off screen, but like for the final shot they were like, we're just going to go full
Yeah.
explicit green tits, just noshing
balls
down
to the wall. Also,
Yeah.
If not
suddenly
now,
the
then
goblins
when?
suddenly the goblins can speak while in goblin form. They've not spoken the entire time. And then
They're
he's
just
just
waiting
like,
for their
"Hey
moment."
kid, you want to eat your mom?" Like that's the moment. There's also, I don't know if it's that moment or another time, but they zoom in on one of the trolls' mouths while they're eating. And you can see the human mouth underneath the mask. It's so good. Oh man. Okay.
The masks are
masterpiece.
horrifying, though.
They're so fucked up.
They
They're so
are.
Apparently, one of them is actually from the movie Troll, so that's an interesting fun fact. IMDb mentioned that one mask, Edward Sarlui, I don't know if that's right, but he also bought the rights to a goblin mask used in Troll. So one of those masks.
They're beautiful. I would like to have my own goblin mask one day.
They said we have purchased some connection to that movie. So
There's
So, yeah,
one
yeah.
goblin mask that always just stands out to me so much. And it's one of the shorter ones, and it's got the big eyes,
That's
and the
the best
face
one.
looks different than all the other ones. And like, I know everybody knows which one I'm talking about.
oh
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely
yeah, yeah,
exactly
yeah.
which
Like,
one you're
When
talking
its
I
about.
know.
eyeball explodes,
Yes.
it's
only
really
one
good.
of them has like a mouth, or only one of them has eyes, right? There's like one that's different.
It's that one. That's the one we're talking about.
Mhm. The only one with a movable mouth, apparently.
And it's so creepy.
It's really creepy. And thinking of that with your eyes wide open, so like that goblin, how can you see this movie to become gayer? How could it be gayer? You like that transition I did?
Well, we've talked about the lovely little boys and how
The
they're
lovely little
all
boys.
they're all gay, they're all bisexual, they're all looking to broaden their sexual horizons. I would also argue that I get bisexual vibes from the dad. And
Oh,
there's
yeah.
one moment in the beginning when he's like half sitting, half lounging on the couch, and he's doing it very bisexually. So
I agree.
And
Yeah,
he's got,
it
like the
has
first
this-
top buttons unbuttoned.
Oh,
Mhm.
it's always unbuttoned. Yeah.
Listen, as a bisexual, there is a very distinct way that bisexuals sit, and it's always one that will make a chiropractor be like, "Your back is fucked up." Every time.
no.
That is the bisexual sitting position.
My legs, as a bisexual woman, my legs fall asleep while sitting every single time. Because I find a new way to elevate my foot higher than every other part of my body.
I've had a doctor tell me, be like, "Sydney, how is your back like this?" And I am just like, "Christopher, I am a bisexual. This is just how we are." And he's just
Christopher,
like,
don't be homophobic.
Christopher, please.
Respect
Speaking of
my people, okay?
bisexuals, Credence is also bisexual for sure.
Very much so. There's that point where she sees the daughter and she's like, what a lovely, delicious little thing. And
Well,
it's like, is
yeah.
she hitting her on her or does she want to eat her or both?
she
She's
might
talking
be
so
the
much about how
queen
beautiful
of
she is.
bisexuals.
Yeah, no, she wants to
Oh my god, I don't know that
get
she's
down
my
with
queen,
Holly.
but-
I'm obsessed with Credence. I'm obsessed with Credence. Everything about her is incredible. Like she is full theater. She's just like the iconic theater kid, you know, like the epitome of the theater kid. And she got to live it up, and I love her. And she's got a very nice speaking voice when she's not doing that voice. Okay. It's very
And
lovely.
she started, you sent it earlier to us. She started some YouTube, like she said, like it was going to be a series. She posited in the video that it was episode 1, and she was like, I've got something to tell you guys, or something. And then she was like, she's coming, I'll tell you later. And then she never made episode 2. She's
Yep.
a woman of mystery.
She's an international woman of mystery, but you should check out her YouTube channel. There's some stuff on there. It's interesting.
We'll have it linked. We'll have
There's
it
some
linked.
stuff.
We'll have it linked. But yeah, I think that the film in and of itself is just like, there's something ineffably gay about it. It's gay. It is like if the film has a sexual orientation, it's gay.
It's gay. It's camp, which is gay.
Yeah.
Very much
It
so.
really is. It really is. And it looks great in green, and we love that for the movie. It's a beautiful thing. But where would Matthew Lillard fit into this movie? Because I feel like he would find a way.
I feel like he could have been one of the creepy townspeople quite well, like one of like the store owner or the creepy pastor, or like, you know,
Gene
like,
Freak.
yes.
Gene
Oh, he would have
Freak.
had
He would have
fun
been
being Gene
great.
Freak.
Gene Freak. No, you go, Sydney.
I would have loved to seen him be Elliot's friend that ends up as the potted plant that says, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, that would have been wonderful. I would love him as Brent, just because I would love to see him do the corn cob thing. I feel like he would have fun with that. He might love popcorn himself. But I also don't want him to be in it, because this movie is so good, because you see these people and then you never see them again in your life, you know?
Mhm.
Unless you watch the documentary. Like it's better because it's a bunch of unknown, kindly Mormon people from Utah.
But they could have put him in full drag as Credence.
That's true, but I
Oh.
love Deborah.
True.
I love Deborah Reed. Her work is inspiring to me.
Okay, no Maddie Lily, I guess.
I don't
No
need him
Maddie
in
Lily for
this.
this
It's
movie.
already the perfect film.
Sure.
I think it would detract. It would make us lose focus on our goal with the film, which is insert goal here. No one knows. No one knows what the point of this movie is.
It's that vegetarians are bad.
Oh,
the
yeah,
thing.
that's true.
Vegetarians
Oh,
are
yeah,
bad. Yeah, I guess she
Vegetarians
had
are
to get
bad.
her message out there. She had to get her narrative across.
She literally was like, all my friends turned vegetarian and it pissed me off. Quote, it pissed me off. I get it. And limits to the restaurants you can go to sometimes. So fair.
But yeah, our next segment is dumb bitch. Who's the dumb bitch? And I would like to start with a nomination. I don't think she'll win, but I sure would like to nominate the blonde girl from the beginning, because she enters the scene being like, they made me eat that stuff. I feel like I'm dying. They go to the witch's house and the witch is like, here, drink this. She immediately drinks it, no questions asked. That's dumb bitch behavior. You were
That is
just saying
dumb.
people attacked you and made you consume foods and beverages. And now you're doing it again from this witch who's like, it contains all the nutrients of all plants in the world. Baby, think, use your brain.
She's already half plant mash by that point, you know.
I guess.
True.
Just want to give her a little shine though when she turns fully into pudding. That acting is really incredible. There's like she's writhing and then there's a hard cut and then she's writhing at a different velocity. It's very fast writhing and higher pitch screaming. It's beautiful. It goes on for too long. Also, really nice. Really
It does
good.
go on for a lot
It
of the
goes on
scenes go on like
a lot.
a little bit longer than they should, but I
Yep, yeah,
love
yeah,
it.
Scenes in this movie go on a little bit longer than they should. They're passing food around in that first hospitality scene for so long.
I know.
Like just being like, oh, plate for you. I'm just gonna admire this corn on the cob.
I'd already be
Um,
dead. I would have like 3 of those weird green cakes down. Like they'd all be already be digesting by the time he decided to piss on the table if I had been at the table.
I think we also have to nominate Claudio himself though, because clearly he just was not passing the vibe check either on set, after the fact. At no point was he tuned into the movie that he was making. So I think unfortunately that does deserve a nomination.
Oh, he was very tuned in. He was too tuned
He
in.
was too tuned in.
He had his vision and he could not take anyone else's suggestion. And he's an artist, so I disagree.
A
Not
good
just
director
a-
would bring them into his vision, though. Help
No,
them
I'll-
see what he sees.
I mean, but think about all the great directors who we talk about who are total assholes on set to their
Yeah.
actors. You know, that's
Claudio's
all
one of
they're-
them.
Yeah,
He's
for-
one of
it's
the
for
greats.
art, Chelsea. It's for
But
the.
I don't like that, so I still think dumb bitch. I think
No.
you should be nice to vegetarians and people at large.
This is why she didn't like the movie. She's pro-vegetarian. That's the whole issue here.
Wow.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Don't bring
Wow.
any personal agendas into this, Monica.
You're bringing your personal agenda of vegetarianism into this.
I'm not, and I've never been a vegetarian, except for like there was one time for like 3 weeks after I saw somebody kill a chicken at a market that I was like, I'm not gonna eat that again, and then it really didn't last very long.
I just do the Sydney diet, which
She just
other
does the Sydney
people
diet.
also do. Shout out to my boy Isaac, big on the
Yeah.
Sydney diet.
Our friend Isaac met Sydney and then adopted her diet.
Sydney's an
He's
influencer.
Very
I've always said that about
It's
Sydney.
like, okay.
She is an influencer. I mean, I'm down to give it to our blondie from the beginning because it's not
Oh.
Credence. She's a genius. The goblins are just trying to live. The family has done nothing wrong. Joshua is very smart, and Grandpa Seth is an icon and can travel through like the afterlife to
I would maybe nominate Arnold, who he's the one who like sees
Oh.
the goblins and is like, "Hey guys, what's up?" As opposed to
Arnold. Yeah, fair.
yeah. I don't
He's
think
way
he's
too chill.
as much of a dumb bitch as the blonde girl, but I would say he's
Does she
he's
have a
secondary.
name?
If she does, I don't
She-
know it. Is it Cindy?
She definitely has a name. I
There's
think
a-
it's Cindy.
Oh,
Cindy.
Cindy. Let's give her her name at least. I guess that's the least we can
Cindy.
do for her.
You're the dumb
Yeah.
bitch, Cindy. It's sorry. It's just that's the way the cookie crime goes. Okay, I'm really excited to see what people's knives out of fives are on this. I already know that everyone has panned this and it was voted the #1 worst movie on IMDb, but give us the numbers, Chelsea.
On IMDb, it has a 2.9 out of 10, which is surprisingly high considering that on Rotten Tomatoes from critics, it has 5% rotten. And we've done some pretty low ones. I'm not sure if we can beat 5%. I think that might take the cake. But audiences were a little more favorable. On Rotten Tomatoes, audiences gave it 44%. Still rotten, but
that's pretty good.
40% more. Yeah.
I wish I had seen these like before the cult resurgence of this movie.
I think it
because
used to have 0%
Yeah,
critical rating.
it
Let me
used
see
to
if I can
have
pop it in
an
the Wayback Machine.
absolute 0. And I was happy to see when I rented this on Amazon, it has 4.5 stars on Amazon. So it is beloved on Amazon, as it should be. But yeah, it, I get it. There's flaws, but it has this je ne sais quoi, there's something that you can't really. I guess I'm giving my review now. There's something about this movie that is just like joyous. It is a joy to behold. Like I was shaking, crying, whatever that phrase is. When
Screaming,
I first saw
crying,
this
throwing
movie.
up. Yeah.
Screaming, crying, throwing up with joy when I first saw this movie. Like it is so preposterous in every single sense. And it really makes something special. And like watching the documentary made me like love it even more and made me absolutely desperate to go to a screening of this movie. Like in the documentary, they showed a screening of it at the Newark, which is where I go see Rocky Horror Picture Show when I go. And so I need that to happen again. I've been Googling it all week. There's nothing scheduled, but somebody make it
Spooky
happen.
Tuesday holds a Troll 2 screening.
Oh my God, I would love to do that. That would be so awesome. Think of all the green icing cupcakes we would have. It would be wonderful. But yeah, I don't know. I love this movie. It is terrible. It is so bad. But we're not comparing this to Body Snatchers right now. Okay, this is how I feel. This is my emotions. And my emotions tell me to give this a 4 out of 5 stars.
Oh my God. Okay.
It is a movie that I watched twice in 24 hours and laughed the entire time, both times. So that says something, and that's how it is.
Okay, but you are not alone. I also want to give this 4
I knew you'd fuck with this shit, Sydney.
Here's the thing. I will not lie. I had a belly full of Thai food. I was absolutely flavor blasted. There was a fireplace on. I was wrapped up in an animal fur, and I was falling asleep while watching this for the first time. But guess what? I loved this movie. And then I watched it again today, and I was like, oh, this is incredible. This is so good. And also, one, there's a hometown vibe, but that hometown man kind of gives me Devin's hot dad vibes.
She had to get it on the record before we wrapped it up. We were talking about this earlier. She was like, I have to put it on the record. Yeah.
I have to put this on the record. I'm giving you a nice heads up.
But
But
hot dad.
like, they're both doctors in real life. Devin's dad is a vet.
Both
The
medical
movie dad
professionals.
is a dentist. They're medical professionals, and they just both have that like nice like
Je ne sais quoi.
hometown like golden retriever man energy. And I know Devin's dad has golden retriever energy because he likes to paddleboard with his golden retriever.
Yes, literally.
Just
That's
like
what
the
he went
most
viral for
wholesome
being
shit.
hot with, right?
Is this why you guys invited me on here? It was just all a big ploy.
It was all a ruse. to
You're
get-
the one
talk
who
about your hot dad on
chose
the
Troll
record.
2,
Devin,
the movie
I
you
thought
wanted to
you
be
got
on.
this
Maybe you
connection.
knew deep down inside.
Because I was just like, oh, Devin wants to go on this movie because
She wants to go on the one so we can bring up her
it's
hot
like-
dad.
So we can bring up her hot dad. Yeah.
Clearly.
She needs everybody to know that she comes from good lineage.
I do have great genetics. I will claim that.
It
I will claim
shows.
that.
You do, it shows.
Thank you.
All right, who's next?
I'll go next because I feel
Chelsea's
like
gonna rain on our
I'm-
parade.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the
Yeah.
hater here. And you guys bullied me last time I tried to be a hater in a loving way. And I just don't think I'm even necessarily in the loving way with this. There are a lot of great, interesting moments. Perhaps were I to really engage again, I would feel more positively. But I just was waiting to be like, what's the piss scene? I will say, okay, that was like cream of the crop for me. And then the popcorn scene also I loved. But you know, Leprechaun had Jen Ann delivering a stunning Jen Ann performance. And I don't know what I wanted from this movie. I'm not sure what I expected. I think there was maybe too much buildup, possibly, with it being insane and bad. And so I don't think I entered in the right headspace. Perhaps one day I will change my mind. But for me, for everything that is entertaining, I don't suspect that I will ever choose of my own free will on my own free time to watch it again.
Don't worry, I'll force you to watch it again.
Oh my God.
so
Okay.
your free will won't be a part of it.
So for me, I can't possibly rate it higher than I rated Leprechaun, which was 1.5 knives out of 5s. And so I'll be giving it a 1.2 knives out of 5s. And the strength of that 1.2 really is for the piss and the popcorn.
I love that you're comparing this to Leprechaun instead of Thanksgiving. Like that Thanksgiving is the
was bad on
natural
purpose.
comparative. Yeah, Thanksgiving was trying to be this movie.
Yeah.
That's what it was
Thanksgiving was-
literally
yeah.
trying to be. This movie. This is the blueprint.
That's why Leprechaun
the
is the
blueprint.
apt comparison, though, because it's not clear that both of them weren't trying to be serious in some capacity. I'm less confident that Leprechaun was trying to be serious. This movie, all the behind the scenes documentary stuff makes it explicitly clear that the filmmakers thought that they had a piece of art on their hands. I just you know,
It's not
it
for
was
you.
a lot.
It's fine.
It was
It's
a
fine.
lot.
Devin, come in and save us here.
I mean, I think it's no surprise that I really, really love this movie. And Chelsea, I'm curious if you see the first time I watched it, and Monica, I think you had the same experience, was I watched it with a group of people. And I
I
think
actually watched it by myself.
Oh, really?
my God.
Yeah, on my computer in my like childhood bedroom, like no one around, just me.
Incredible. I will say watching this movie with other people is sort of what made me love it. It's like the same reason people go see Rocky Horror or they go to screenings of The Room. You know, there's just something about like it is a communal experience that kind of needs to be believed. So that's why I have so much love for it, because I remember sitting in my friend Will's basement and somebody being like, I heard this is the worst movie ever made. Let's get it from Blockbuster and watch it. And it's just one of those films that is just, it brings me so much joy. And I think actually watching the documentary makes me love it more, because it is just such a collection of weirdos who set out to make a movie and it failed spectacularly. And
But boy, did they make a movie.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where like you can't, the stars aligned to create this absolute masterpiece of garbage, which is why my personal ranking is I'm gonna go with the group and say 4 out of 5 knives.
Oh my God. You guys are forgetting that my one is not loving here, but you can love a movie and give it a trash rating. You guys are forgetting that sometimes that's
no, we can, but we know that you are doing that.
I know
you
that
had to counterbalance me.
Chelsea, I know that I have the ability to rate it whatever I want, and this is what I want to rate it at. It is a 4 out of 5 knives. It is beauty. It is grace. It's not quite Miss United States, but it is close. It's
Miss Nilborg.
It's Nilborg. We've changed it now. Nilbog.
Nilbog.
It is something that is. It's okay. I liked it. It's special, and I think they say this in the documentary. Like, you'll never be able to make something like this ever again. Like, this is like a once in a lifetime movie.
Much like Blair Witch Project, it can only exist at the time that it did, and then in the way that it did to have become what it did. So I guess in that way, it is special.
It's very special, and that is Troll 2, baby. That is Troll 2, baby. Shut up. Chelsea's like, and you're having a wholesome moment, and I'm giving it a 1.2. So just a reminder.
Just a reminder. That said,
I accept
next
that
week,
you don't like it.
we are doing another masterpiece.
I'm excited.
Next week we've got our second Fifth Tuesday, actually. And so if you forgot what that means, if you didn't listen to our first Fifth Tuesday, what that means is we get a bonus Tuesday in the month of March. So we get to do whatever movie we want. No rules, baby. I am making us do Bedazzled. The Brendan Fraser, as it turns out, that's his name is pronounced Fraser, not Frasier.
Brendan Fraser is in this?
Yes, that's why
I know nothing about it.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's why I had to make you watch it. But it is, I believe it came out in the year 2000. And it has Brendan Fraser and it has Elizabeth Hurley playing a sexy devil. And it was very formative to my sexuality in my youth. And so I'm so excited to share it with you, Monty. Sydney's already seen it, but I can't wait to watch it. I cannot.
I love this movie. This movie is hot, sexy, funny. It gives everything that you want in a movie. This movie has.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm very excited to hear that Brendan Fraser is in this movie, but I'm also upset because that means that it pushes off when we can do The Mummy a little bit further, because I cannot wait until we do The Mummy on the podcast. But anyway, that's going to be really fun. Well, Devin, thank you so much for coming on the pod and talking about this fucking crazy bullshit with us.
Thank you. I mean, this is as you know, I've been a fan for a really long time, so I am super psyched, especially.
I've been a fan for a really long time. Oh my God, you're our friend and you're part of the squad. So you are part of this moment.
Thank you. I'll be the bonus occasional Spooky Tuesday guest.
There we go.
Please, you're a spooky gal, you're a spooky bitch. Please come on anytime and drop your stagely knowledge, because Devin is a smart girl. Let us all.
Devin is beauty and brains. Spooky till the day she dies.
She's beauty, grace, and Miss United States for sure. You've got
I should
that
do this more
all-American
often.
vibe.
Oh my God, Devin,
we'll gas you
on
up.
These compliments, yeah. Just come on for a hype session.
We're adding a new segment each week. It's called Gas Up Devin.
Great, I love it. I'm in.
Well, okay. Why not continue the gas up session for Devin in our reviews on Apple Podcasts? Why not go in, give us a 5-star review, and then list several compliments about how wonderful Devin is. I know
Talk about
you're
her hot dad, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Maybe not that last part.
Comment on her hot dad. I love doing it.
Oh my God. Well, at least just comment on Devin's sultry voice, her beautiful everything, her smart brain. And you could also give us a compliment too if you want. And the 5-star review is the main part. So Apple Podcast, Podchaser, or just Spotify, and we'll just feel the compliments.
Here's the thing. Also, if you want to follow Devin on social media, Devin,
plug your shit. Oh my God.
Like, here's the thing. We know Devin is beautiful, smart, incredible, Miss United States. You should experience that as well.
Plug.
Share my gifts with the world. No, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter both. My username is just @DevinCogan. Come say hi. Let's talk about terrible horror movies.
Devin, spell your name for the people.
I got you. It's DEVANCOGGAN.
The
And that'll
double
also
G.
be in our references. So don't
The
worry.
double G is what always gets me.
Yeah.
And while you're clicking follow, why not follow Spooky Tuesday @spooky_Tuesday on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we're also @Spooky Tuesday Pod on Facebook and Tumblr, and @Spooky Tuesday on Letterboxd. You should also follow Devin on Letterboxd. What's your Letterboxd?
I think it's just D Kogan or Devin Kogan, but yeah, come find me on Letterboxd. And
she writes really good reviews. I knew she was going to give this a 4 because I read her review in advance.
I did log this one on Letterboxd as a multiple rewatch for sure.
Oh yeah,
This
and we'll
movie's
keep
so
rewatching it.
rewatchable. It is. It's incredible.
And it only gets better. Chelsea, I hope that you continue to watch it and it
Okay.
continues to bring you joy, and it
Okay.
really takes over you. Like it courses through your
my God.
veins like
Turns
green.
like
Green
Good.
Shrek ketchup. It courses through your veins.
We all
Maybe
bleed
I too
green
will one
blood.
day be giving Shrek ketchup.
Well, thanks for listening.
Bye, spookies.
Do you see this writing? Do you know what it means? Hospitality. And you can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamra Simons, who you can follow on Instagram @Captain Tamra, and our podcast art is by Mary Murphy, who you can find on Instagram @the_moon_OMG.